Wilson is throwing a fit over the possibility of Caitlin Clark heading to Europe. Meanwhile, Aja believes Clark is the league's biggest attraction and is determined to keep her in the WNBA. A surprising shift, considering Aja once criticized Clark for her privilege. Now, she's beginning to grasp just how much impact Caitlin has had on the league. Still, the entitlement runs deep. Aja sees herself as the rightful face of the WNBA, even as it's Caitlin who's undeniably transformed the game's landscape.
Entitled players in the WNBA just can't seem to understand is, you get what you put in, and right now, you are getting exactly what you deserve.
Let's be honest. Before Caitlin Clark burst onto the scene, Aja Wilson wasn't getting the recognition she's chasing now. Aja presents herself as gracious, but lately, the jealousy is starting to show. Just like many others in the WNBA, Caitlin has the power to make the move overseas, and when she does, the spotlight won't follow Aja. Just like in the past, she'll be out of the conversation. Deep down, Aja knows she's not the league's biggest draw, no matter how many MVPs she's won. She might try to sell that narrative to the media, but let's be real, no one's buying it.
Don't y'all want a greater profile? Don't y'all want more notoriety? Don't y'all want more...
A move to the EuroLeague could have set a powerful precedent, inspiring other WNBA stars to explore international opportunities and shaping the path for future generations. But just as the deal seemed within reach, Aja Wilson stepped in, throwing a wrench into Clark's plans and shifting the narrative entirely.
Now, Aja Wilson was a more dominating player and deserved to be the MVP, and unanimous.
Wilson's interference in the EuroLeague deal wasn't just a bump in the road. It was a calculated move to keep Clark from seizing a major opportunity. According to reports, fresh off her WNBA MVP win, Wilson believed she should be the face of the EuroLeague, not Clark. This wasn't just about basketball or personal preference. It exposed a deeper rivalry brewing between two of the league's brightest stars. Given her accolades and status in the WNBA, Wilson likely saw herself as the obvious choice for international teams. So when Clark, still early in her pro career, emerged as the frontrunner, it may have felt like a slap in the face. Wilson's actions seem rooted in the belief that she's already proven her dominance and therefore deserves to be first in line for high-profile moves. To her, Clark hasn't earned that spotlight yet. Still, despite the narrative being spun, many refuse to acknowledge that Caitlin has been targeted this season. But the signs are getting harder to ignore.
Caitlin is fantastic, and I think she's going to have an incredible career in the WNBA. There are women that were worthy of coverage prior to her arriving, and I just will not be silenced when it comes.
This isn't the first time Wilson has clashed with Clark over major opportunities. Sources previously suggested that Wilson attempted to interfere with Clark's Nike endorsement, hoping to secure the spotlight and the deal for herself. That incident was the first real glimpse into the growing tension between the two stars. But the EuroLeague controversy has escalated things dramatically, with Wilson actively stepping in to derail Clark's international prospects. It's now clear, this rivalry isn't just professional. It's personal, and Wilson has made that known through her actions.
How do you miss an opportunity like that? How do you not capitalize? It doesn't make any sense at all. And playing the politics where, oh, we need to release Aja's shoe first. Well, no, it's not Caitlin's fault that you haven't done anything for Aja yet.
With her recent MVP recognition, Wilson likely expected a surge of attention from fans, sponsors, and international teams. But when Clark, a newcomer to the league, suddenly became the focal point of EuroLeague discussions, it felt like a direct slight to Wilson's accomplishments. Despite her proven dominance, the spotlight shifted almost overnight, and instead of celebrating Wilson's success, much of the media and fanfare turned to Clark. This rapid change in narrative has left Wilson feeling sidelined at a moment when she should be front and center. The growing attention around Clark has introduced a rivalry that extends beyond the court. For Wilson, it's not just about the game. It's about holding on to a status she's worked hard to earn and guarding against a rising star who's being handed opportunities she believes should be hers.
Caitlin Clark's the most valuable, most important person in the WNBA this year, and should have been unanimous rookie.
Wilson's move to block Clark's EuroLeague deal isn't a one-off. It reflects a growing pattern. Their rivalry dates back to earlier tensions over a Nike endorsement, where Wilson reportedly tried to edge Clark out to claim the spotlight for herself. While competition for deals is expected, Wilson's actions suggest she sees Clark as a serious threat to her status. For Clark, the Nike deal could have been a defining moment. For Wilson, it was about protecting her legacy. Clark's quick rise has disrupted the WNBA's balance, and instead of welcoming the shift, Wilson seems to be pushing back. Blocking Clark's international opportunity wasn't just about business, it was personal. A way to remind the league that she's still the one to watch. At its core, this isn't just about basketball. It's about recognition, relevance, and the uneasy feeling of being challenged by the new face of the league.
Wilson, 28 years old, 1,000 points in the regular season. Why is that not the biggest story out at the moment?
Exactly.
Why are we talking about Caitlin Clark?
Why when Asia was releasing a shoe were we talking about Caitlin?
Before Clark entered the league, Wilson was already a standout star, collecting accolades, endorsements, and respect. But Clark's arrival shifted the narrative almost overnight. Suddenly, she became the center of media attention, major endorsements, and fan admiration. For Wilson, this change has made it harder to fully enjoy her success without feeling eclipsed. That sense of jealousy has shown not only through Wilson's off-court actions, but also in her remarks about Clark. She's implied that Clark's rise is more about privilege than effort, downplaying her accomplishments. These comments reveal Wilson's frustration as the spotlight drifts away, despite feeling she's earned the right to remain at the top.
Who was unanimous MVP, which, by the way, is the first unanimous MVP in the NBA or the WNBA to ever not make the finals, which is something else. Fans are they're gonna share that. It does not mean that we are misogynistic or we're just hating on Asia. No, it's just this is what happens when a team loses.
One of the most telling signs of Caitlin Clark's influence on the WNBA is the significant drop in viewership when she's not playing. Clark has become a fan magnet, drawing in audiences who may not have followed women's basketball before. Yet when she's off the court, the numbers tell a stark truth. Fans tune out and engagement dips, even with star players like A'ja Wilson still competing. This shift highlights a harsh reality. Clark isn't just a talented player, she's the driving force behind the league's growing popularity.
Here's the reality. It wasn't what it is. The quality of basketball may have been up to snuff, and you had somebody as popular as Cheryl Swoops who had her own signature shoe, had to deal with Nike and all of this other stuff. But the bottom line is, very few people gave a damn.
They decide what they want to do. We can point out how wrong it is. We can point out that that's a reality that shouldn't be a reality. But what we can't do is say, this is what matters. That doesn't. When the audience was telling you...